I can't hear you.
Hello,
Oh,
hello,
can you hear that?
hello. Well, is that? Oh, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Simply Together show. I don't know what happened there. It's called IT. It's called yeah, all of that stuff. So, what's the weather like today? Grey and horrible. Where's the sun gone from yesterday? What is that? That's just so confusing. Just so confusing. But anyway, we are here today on the show. We have got a lovely guest who's coming on in just a minute, the lovely Louise Clark. But for me and it's Nike. How you doing, Nike?
Hello. It's all good. It's good. It's good. Yes, the sun is just changeable, just like we are. It comes, it goes. It does as it pleases. It's called the British sun. We love it.
Okay. Just,
Yeah,
just like we are, changeable like we are. That
we're
might be a better way to
changeable.
look at it. Actually, it's changeable. Well, we know the weather's changeable, but we are changeable too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that one. That's
Exactly.
good. I do like that. How is Shelley there in the background?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been
Good.
out for a walk already. Yeah, the weather is a bit chillier, but it's okay.
Oh my God. Shelley said the weather's a bit chillier. I'm
No,
concerned.
we have to clarify that first. Before we go down that road, we have to clarify that. Did you have a cardigan on?
I actually did today. I had my light jacket on today. I had a t-shirt on and then a light jacket. So yes,
Right. So
I didn't
people, you
have the
need
full
to
jump or anything.
coat.
Or
It's a red letter day,
You
guys.
need
It's a red letter day.
you need to get your coats out because if Shelley has got some lightweight jacket on, you need your coat because that's how it goes. If she's only slightly cold, we're going to be cold. So get your coats out ready. Good. That's good. You're okay.
how are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm okay. I've been away for the weekend up north. That's changeable weather up there as well. That whole Saturday and that wind and that rain. I got about half an hour away from Ellesmere Port, and then it just suddenly, because there was nothing all the way, it was all dry, and I thought, oh, where's this storm that they're talking about? Storm, whatever.
Storm Amy.
Amy. Well, Amy showed up about half an hour away, and the car was going like this, and the rain was coming down, and yeah, I just thought,
Yeah,
right, okay,
I
okay.
can
You're
imagine.
telling me I'm up north now, aren't you? I'm up north. Do you know what? You know this, and I know we we take the piss. Do we take the piss? The Southerners do take the piss, just as the Northerners take the piss out of the
Rains up
Southerners,
north.
right? So there's yeah, so they're up north, they are walking around in a t-shirt even when it's freezing cold
Yep,
weather.
because they're hard.
They teach their children that. They teach their children that from a young age. Because I was out shopping on Sunday with a coat on, and I see these children, like 5, 6, 7, in a t-shirt. I just thought, seriously, come on now. If you're down
It's when
south, you can have a vest, a t-shirt, a cardi, and a jacket.
But it's quite interesting the difference though, because I was in Clacton at the weekend, and we only
That's
experienced
yeah.
Amy on Friday evening as we got there. But after that, it was absolutely glorious. Some people said they were a bit cold on the weekend on the beach in the morning, but we were there at 8 o'clock in the morning. But no, it was absolutely lovely for the two. Well, we were in my gang. We were there for up until yesterday afternoon. It was absolutely awesome, and that is
Did you
why I
bring
say the
oh,
British weather is changeable.
it is changeable. Did you bring me back a stick of rock?
Oh, I was too busy. I had 6 sessions of taekwondo. There was no time to go shopping for rock or anything like that.
You just
black
said you
belt
went on the
taekwondo.
beach. You went
Yeah, in
down
the
on
morning,
the beach.
we had an army drill in the morning. We were doing that. No. We did all of that. A little bit of it anyway.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
let you off. I'll let you off. But next time you need to get me a stick of pink rock, please.
Right, now I know. So watch
Please.
out for the second weekend in May. You will get a stick of rock.
Thank you. Right, so Shelley is going to bring our lovely guest on in just 1 second. Maybe.
Hello.
Hi, Louise.
Hello.
Hello. How are we
doing?
I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah, can't complain. I'm good.
Look at that under your name. Founder of
know.
Digital and Human Intelligence.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay, that's new.
So,
that is new.
Well, it's a framework that I've been working on, and I've been trying to play it down for some time. So I've been working on it a good couple of years. Actually, I'd probably say I've been working on it 5 years, but it's not all come to place until this year. And I'm going for a global standard with this. Yeah, mate, I'm not hanging around anymore. I'm not messing about.
Well,
I'm going straight.
You know what? I was just going to say, why does that not surprise me? Because you're not going to just go in, are you? You're going to go up there. So, okay. So before we start then, so tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do other than this, what you're coming to share with today.
Okay. So I'm Louise Clark, and as I've said, I'm the founder of Digital and Human Intelligence. It is a 7-pillar standard that looks at how we manage people in an AI world. So the landscape of everything is changing, and we need to be really mindful of that. So the 7 pillars it's an auditable framework, so but it's a tech-enabled solution to managing that. So we've got 7 pillars that go into the sort of psychological well-being of people, understanding misinformation, deepfake technology, the impact that has on us, looking at neurodivergent conditions and the impact that has on an AI world, or on what that looks like coming down the line. We've got procurement. So when I'm the founder of this, but what I'm really fortunate is, over the last couple of years, I've managed to sit in some really good rooms with some really good, important people that are making decisions, and they are policymakers, stakeholders, members of parliament, government. I was in a couple recently, which was national security, looking at AI-enabled weapons. So it's given me a really big understanding of that. And one of the things that's really come really, I suppose, to the forefront is where liability is going to sit in this new world. So I've been shaping, and the global standard really goes into the heart of that. Let me just turn it down because I'm getting a bit of feedback. The global standard, it looks at procurement as a gateway for liability, but it's 7 pillars. It's tech enabled. I'm aiming it at governments, but then there's lots of other courses that I've done for online, which looks at cognitive warfare, looks at how the misinformation and the fake the deep fake technology that's out there, the impact that has on us as humans. So it's leading digital transformation, but with human intelligence. Everyone's quiet now. I just made you all silent.
I was actually just thinking as you were speaking about the importance of it. I mean, obviously you mentioned some really big players there, but even just looking at it from like an everyday normal, oh God, I use that word very loosely, normal working person, except with all the stuff that is going on, because you mentioned there about deep fake technology, and
Nikkei, this is it, and this is why I've pulled this. This is like speaks to me, and it's funny because I've done loads of different things, and Cecile, you know that I've worked in different things, and actually throughout my professional career, I've done lots of different jobs and different roles, and worked in different industries, different sectors. But then what I do for me is who I am as a person, and what I understand. This scares me more than anything now ever. And just to give some scope to that, so last year in 2024, we had 500,000 bits of fake misinformation out there. That's 8 million this year. And that is significantly rising day on day. And when I look at the impact that it has on people and people making decisions, now, Okay, so we think about the normal person, should we say, the layperson. We don't get the same news feed as what we used to. Everybody's version of reality is different.
Yeah.
Okay, so historically, we'd get the newspaper, and we'd get the newspaper, we'd read it all the same, and then we would have our interpretation based on our conditioning and our learning and our environment. But now, whatever we get up in the morning, our For You page is different to the person next to you. It's different to who you go to work with. And that narrative may have shifted depending on what you're putting in, your digital footprint. And people don't realize that your WhatsApp is linked to your social media, and it's linked to whatever. If there's group messages in there and they're putting a certain language or tone in there, then your algorithm is going to pick that up.
Yeah.
So this is really about, I feel it's critical that we try to bring some real human intelligence, some emotional intelligence, and help people navigate this, because it worries me.
Yeah. You know, Louise, I watched a post the other day. It's a very innocuous post. It's about 1 minute long. It was this woman, and she said that she read a post that somebody had said that, you know how we all say habits form after 21 days? And so she decided to have a conversation, and she asked ChatGPT about it. And then the ChatGPT came back and said, yes, it's been proven that 80% of people are, after 21 days or after 3 weeks, will continue on with the habit. So this woman said, well, I think that was a bit high. So she went back and said, can you please tell me the source of that information? And then the ChatGPT came back and said, I can't find any source that says 80% of people will continue after the 21 days. And then it went on to explain that if you had wanted me to cite information, then you have had to have asked the question in that manner, because they were set up to speak as an influencer. And so they were just making the assumptions. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God.
But this is it.
To influencers.
No, but this is it. The tools, ChatGPT, and I'm an advocate for it in many ways, has an incredible ability if you know how to prompt it. Now, ChatGPT, a lot of it was around healthcare, and you can get some incredible information and data if you put the right prompt in. But what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you give it a really broad term, it's just going to throw out. It's going to throw out basic, not really given consideration or cited evidence. But if you want it to say that I want some deep research, or I want some pull through some factual with cited, reports or whatever, it will do it, and it will put it into a spreadsheet for you, put it into whatever it is you want. But this is it. It's making people understand that, I mean, one, you've got to always check anything that comes out of it, but it understands what you put in, you'll get out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So is there a way then? Because I am really not up there with all of this. Is there a way that you can stop your WhatsApp and all of those other things that you use from putting that algorithm together?
No. And look, I think this is no, you can't. And I mean, this is another conversation for another day, but if we look at digital IDs, for instance, and there's a lot of backlash around that. But when that has access to your phone, it will have access to everything in terms of, your phone, your smartphone, all of them are connected. We share information across it. It now already knows, and it feeds into the AI. Everything knows what you do, when you do it, how you do it, where you're at, where you go, what you watch, because it's got that continually in the phone. And Meta, so WhatsApp is owned by Meta and Instagram, so Facebook and Instagram. So that will pull through any, and that limits your reach. And that's been like that for a few years. So if you've got a lot of negative connotations in your WhatsApp that is rude or whatever, but then you're trying to be an influencer and you're posting content online, it will see that actually you're not a good source. So it will limit your reach. So they're all linked.
What we're putting in our WhatsApp. Do we now need to watch what we're putting in our WhatsApp?
Absolutely, because it feeds into AI. And I think this is what people don't realise. Your digital footprint is your digital footprint, and it stays with you and will continue to stay with you. And whatever you're putting out there, whatever you're asking, whatever sentiment or feeling you've got, that goes into an AI, that goes into an LLM. and that then starts to generate its knowledge and grow from there. So absolutely, you have to be very careful as to what your digital footprint is monitoring everything you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in other words, Louise, what you're telling me, back in the day when you applied for a job and you sent your CV and you put your name down for 2 references, I would say that, yeah, you could ask Shelley and Cecile about me, the blah, 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 blah. They eventually they won't need to, because obviously they will be able to just look through AI.
They will.
I
won't.
did see a demonstration of that. My brother was big into tech and things like that, and I was sitting with him one day. I can't remember the name of it was. It wasn't ChatGPT he was using, but he literally typed in my name. He said, "Please tell me about my full name."
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it came up and said, it literally said, the only thing it got wrong, it didn't say I was an influencer. And I thought, yeah, I've only influenced one person to go and listen to a podcast, but we don't have to discuss that. But it came up and it linked everything. It kind of, and it went through it step by step, you know, from what it saw on LinkedIn, how it worked into Facebook. Because I would tell you, you'd have to really, you'd have to look on LinkedIn, for example, to see where I work, because, you know, I don't really talk about much about where I work for the reasons that you all know. But the way it just brought it all up, and, you know, it took some extracts of some posts that I've written, because I used to have a blog and all of that malarkey, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, this is me, little innocuous me. I don't do anything. I don't really share very extreme political views or religious views or anything like that, but it was kind of spooky.
Yeah, no,
it's that my niece, I would say about 8 years ago now, when she went for a job, the HR team, because of what she's kind of like doing and what the company was, so it'd been vans, because you got that kind of lifestyle, they actually looked at her social media.
Most companies do.
Most companies
do. What kind of person she is. Would she fit with that company? And you just got to explain to kids now, all right, okay, you think you're all this on social media, and that's going to sit there. That is going to stay there and follow you.
And this is the thing. So what my framework DHI is about, it's understanding that procurement is the new liability gateway. That's where all accountability and risk is going to sit when you procure. So if we was to say, just bringing it back to AI, if we was going to procure some AI technology for your business, you can't court-martial a bot, you can't arrest an agent, or you can't sue a little bit of technology. So what you're going to do, it has to sit with the person with procurement. So when they're procuring this, that's not just, you know, the procuring the tech, but when we procure staff now, and we look down there, we're going to have to ensure that we are sourcing candidates ethically and that they fit with what we're trying to sell as a business. So with jobs, we know jobs they are going. There's no changing that. Jobs are changing. Early entry level jobs for young people aren't there anymore. I've had to employ my daughter because she found it really hard to get a job. So there's going to be very few jobs, and people are going to have to really fight for those jobs. And part of that due diligence prior to it will be searching your digital footprint, will be understanding actually who is this person, what do they do, what's their feelings, what's their thoughts, and how do they articulate that? Because that one sort of, I suppose, poor decision in procurement is risk in disguise. So you're really going to have to ensure that you procure. So your digital footprint, social media. I mean, when I've been looking for people for probably the last decade, I've looked at social media to see what kind of person they are, because you have to. And you know, you have to see whether they're going to turn up if they're out on the lash all the time, whether they're going to be, you know, responsible for work. But these are the things that you would use it for. But no, that's absolutely, you know, normal, I think, behaviour to do that.
Okay, so before we then move on to what you've got coming up, I'm just trying to get my head around it. So,
you know, I like to blow your mind.
I've been into Google. I seriously, you come on here. I mean, we've had you on here many times, and all the things that you talk about. This is the only time where I am just kind of like, I don't even know what to say. I am absolutely gobsmacked, and the three of us sat there with nothing to say because we just didn't. Yeah. So you've blown our minds this time. So
Good.
you can go into
That's
Google,
saying a lot because I've dropped some bombs on you before.
I know you have. I know. Yeah, but those bombs that you dropped previously have been like, I don't know, they kind of touch your soul and they've been really emotional and all of that kind of thing. This one, yeah, this is going to stay with me now. And
this one was scary.
Anyway,
this one was scary. That's
it is
why.
scary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. No,
it is.
about it.
So go into Google. Put your name into Google, and if you put my name into Google, it comes up with the counselling service. It comes up with the community stuff that I used to do. Comes up with all of that. Does that now mean that if you do that, you're also then going to connect to whatever crap I put on Facebook or Instagram?
That is already there. That's already there. The links will be there. Absolutely, yes. But it's whether it depends again on what tools people use to source you. So who's looking at that information? If it's just somebody, from Facebook or somebody that's looking for that information, they'll find what you do in your professional world. But actually, if they wanted to piece you together to do a profile of you, they'd have to use it. But it's understanding who's going to be looking, why they're going to be looking, what's it for, and what it will pull through. But you can pull through it all. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean so it's a really good point actually, because let me just so how some of it will work. When I talk about the reach, and I show that actually if you're having negative conversations on your WhatsApp and you've got your behavior on you're instant reactive in a negative emotional state. So say you bite and you're aggressive in your responses because somebody said something that you don't like, it picks up on your sentiment and how quick you are to react. Now, if you've got consistency of that, and it will almost like score you. So then, although search engine optimization, so your SEO for Google isn't really linked, that can still limit your reach. So if you've got this personal life that is very negative, and it doesn't sit with what you're portraying yourself to be in your professional life, your reach will be minimized to prevent any I suppose people being affected by it. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense actually, to be fair.
All of you again were like
I'm looking at the two girls because I've got a lot of techie kind of people around me, and it is I mean it's even something simple like we could be sat here having a conversation, the phone's picking up everything that you're then saying.
Oh, 100%.
All of a sudden Facebook will then give you an advert for something you've just been talking about.
Yeah. And do you know that was Woucher were one of the first people to do that, probably about a decade ago. Yeah. Probably even a bit more. They were one of the first people to do it, that started to pick up on that email, that sort of sponsor, that suggested links. Yeah.
I think, to be fair, I'm still gobsmacked. We need to move on from this because you keep putting these things out there, and my head is just going to explode. But with regards to social media, I don't react just like that. I take it away and I think about it before I post it, because I know with the people that I have in that, you've got all of these people that you're friends with, that you met once, and all of this business. So there's loads of people on my Facebook, not so much on my Instagram, but they are from all different walks of life. So I think about what I put on there before I put it on there. So if it's about me, then that's fine. If I'm putting on something, whatever. But if I'm commenting about something else, I'll think about it first.
Yeah.
Because I'm very mindful of, I'm not there to cause an argument. So I'm mindful of what I put on there so that I don't get those reactions. So if that algorithm is then looking at how quick I respond, it'll be able to see that I don't respond that quickly.
Yeah, and it can see that you're applying it sort of emotional and intelligent logic, because a lot of time we will respond to things in that heat where we're something, you know, we read something and instantly it triggers something in us and we think, right, okay, I'm going to respond. But if you take that time to think, actually, I know what my response is. I need to articulate it in a way in which it's not going to cause offense to other people. I think that's how we want to do things anyway, isn't it? Because that's the only way in which we'll ever get our point across, and to be able to have it with conviction is if we take a step back, review it, think, right, it's about articulating it in a way where I'm not going to, where other people can see it for what it is, as opposed to getting their back up.
Louise, is on the other way of that, because in relation to what Cecile has said there, also, you know, when, for me, the people who make the type of comments that Cecile has talked about reacting to, now my new mantra is just to block them or to unfriend them on Facebook or TikTok or all the spaces that I tend to inhabit. And do they look at that as well?
Absolutely. And I think this goes in, like, that's the first thing you should do, because your algorithm is then going to give you more of that. It's going to say, okay, this person constantly engages in this, even if it's, I don't comment, but I sit on there. That's an engagement. And when it sees that you're engagement, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you more and more of that. So if you're in a negative headspace, or if you're in a space where you're seeing things that you're finding challenging, and you're thinking, who is this? Why is my feed now got whatever on it that I oppose? If you're constantly looking at it, thinking about it, thinking, oh, shall I comment? Shall I not? It's going to give you more of that. So get rid of it. Like, that's one of the things that people don't realize, is you can change your algorithms very, very quickly.
Yeah.
By engaging on content that's more relevant to you, that gives you a better way of seeing things. Like, you know, constantly seeing negative, and if you just continually comment on it, you're going to feed it. You're going to get more and more of it.
Yeah.
Because even like the sort of like on Facebook where it's click more, so you haven't actually clicked on the link, but your scrolling has stopped, especially through Instagram. Because I've looked for a certain thing, or I've seen a certain thing, you'll get the same kind of stuff that will then come up. So again, if you're in an upset mood while you're scrolling, you're going to get more of those kind of like those kind of pictures and videos and reels and stuff come up.
Absolutely.
Just because you paused on it. So it's not, so don't necessarily think, oh, because I didn't click on the link. No, because you paused on it, it's recognized.
It's
you've been watching it.
Absolutely. And that means, and obviously with Meta, we know that they're linked. So if you do that on say Instagram, for instance, and you're pausing on some negative content, it's going to link to your Facebook, and you're going to see it on there. And then what you will see is, if you've got any real down messages in your WhatsApp, and you're saying, say we use that you're sort of in a depressed state, and you're looking at information that's really feeding into that on Instagram, it will feed it across into into Facebook. But then if you're having conversations with people on WhatsApp saying that I'm really down, it's giving that, it's saying, right, okay, this is exactly how this person feels. Because they've engaged on this, we're going to throw more information their way. And these are the things that people need to be concerned about and worried, you know, need to think, actually, how can I move myself away from that? What can I do myself to change the algorithm so I'm not seeing all of these things? But just a slight pause, or, you know, and people do it. Influencers have their way of doing it, whether it's a carousel that slides across, or whether it's you can only see half a photo, so you have to click on the photo to be able to see the full length of it. That's engagement. You know, and that all plays a part on how we are. And that's why for me for me developing what I've developed is all about that. It's really understanding that and actually being able to help people have practical tools to be able to change it, but putting the responsibility on organizations and businesses.
Okay. Because I think before...
So in the past year... Go on, Nico.
Yes.
No, all I was going to say is that before, I think people only really linked it to ads, because with ads, it's so prevalent. You know, you look at one ad. There's one ad that I looked at on Instagram. Honestly, I looked at it, and then the other day I was scrolling Facebook and it was there. Then I went back to Instagram and it was there. And I'm like, please just go away. But then, ironically, when I did show it, I think, oh, actually, this is quite good because you have to look at it 7 times, right, before you're going to be interested in it. But I thought, well, I don't want to buy it off Instagram or Facebook because I don't really like their shopping platform. So I went over to TikTok because their shopping platform is much better for me. I feel, I don't know, I just feel it's a little bit more secure. Could I find the same advert? No. So yeah, but I just thought I really linked it to adverts before, until, like you said, the discussions and the stuff like that you just think, oh, that's come up at the top of Google. So yeah,
that's a really good point, DK, because what you've linked it to is a sale. Okay,
yeah.
you've looked at some kind of monetization, which is exactly what it is. An advert is selling you a product, a service, or whatever for a fee. But when we look at influencing and we look at how people monetize influencing, the more reach they've got, the more engagement they've got, the more followers they've got, they can monetize that in certain ways. So absolutely, the content there is, they're going to try and hook you because they're going to try and make money from it in some way. So they're not necessarily selling a service in that you get a tangible product like what we're used to, which is how the adverts work then. Now what you're getting is that you're feeding into their money back. So whatever it is, whatever there's an influencer for everything.
Yeah.
So it is a way of catching money. It's just we've switched the advertising revenue model round from being a revenue tangible product to an influencer monetization product.
Indeed.
So, Louise, over the past, I don't know, past year, maybe a bit longer than that, I don't know. You have been in some fabulous spaces, the Houses of Parliament and all of those absolutely brilliant places. When you've been talking to them, have you made them sit there with their mouths open and say nothing? Have they had that same reaction that we've had?
Yeah. So I was really fortunate. I did a speech on Friday at the Royal Automotive Club down in London, and in there we had different ambassadors. We had the ambassador for Panama, Jamaica. We had some people over from Africa, dignitaries, some lords in the room, and I then gave a speech. I gave a speech about procurement and that being the liability gateway and how we have to buy responsibly and ethically, and that's the only way in which we can do the new world right. And yeah, it was great, and I got told afterwards that I was probably the most authentic speaker they've seen, and that they could resonate, they could understand what I'm saying. But then I've been tomorrow I'm going down to an event down in London. I'm going to a dinner with one of the library groups, which is a worshipful group. So I've been invited to a swearing in of an initiation of a new master, which kind of a little bit apprehensive about. But no, I've been in these rooms, and I think what they want is an approach that is real. And so, yeah, it's been perceived. I've been perceived really well, and I seem to be growing in that area now. I've had lots of offers to do speeches in places. So yeah, it's definitely getting some traction. I met the Lord Mayor of London a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I was down at Mansion House. I got an invite down to Mansion House to look at skills, look at innovation, and look at investment, and what does that look like going forward. And it was really funny. So he's not got much left of his tenure. They only do a year. He's in control of the square mile in London. So from a point of view, that's the biggest, that's the most, I suppose, it's where all the decisions are made. And he was talking about, look, now is the time to go after what you want. If you don't ask, you don't get. Bang on doors. What, mate? You don't know what's coming your way when you finish this speech, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. So he got down, and then I walked over to him, and I was like, I said, oh, great speech. And he said, oh, thank you. And I've got one of these flyers, and I was like, I said, in keeping with what you've said, don't ask, don't get. I literally put a flyer into his hand. He said, what's that? And I said, well, I was quite straight. I said, the UK and Europe own zero technology. Social media is our biggest threat at national security level. This here is going to be the global standards that manages and governs people. So although we don't own the tech, we will own how we manage and look after people. And he just paused for a second, and I thought, easy.
Is this going to go?
Yeah. Oh no, this is going to go. And he went, have you done this? I said, yeah, I have. And he said, well, very well done. He said, how can I get in touch with you? And I said, well, my details are there. He said, great, I'll get in touch. I said, well, that's great. I said, because I have yours. And if you don't, I will. Yeah. And I was really, because I just thought, you know what, I'm in them rooms and you'll remember me. So that's why I've changed my name, Louise with a Z, because people always say, oh, Louise with a Z. I say, yeah. And they're like, oh, I remember you. And I think, yeah, that's not how I've spelt my name, but that's how I do it for my business cards and how I do it, because then people remember it. So, but yeah, they are listening. They are listening, which is good. And I'm going to keep banging the drum until they not just listen, till they adopt. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just anybody. Some people watch this show, some people are new, people dip in and out, etc., etc. So I have said this at least, I don't know, 10 times or more. I've known Louise since she was a scrappy teenager on the bloody streets doing all sorts, right?
Yeah.
I am so proud of you. Honestly, that Luton girl is getting into those big places, absolutely huge places. So I am so proud. Honestly, I am. Gobsmacked with the things you absolutely gobsmacked. But yes, I am so proud. But tell us what else. How have you even got time to do anything else? Tell us what it is you're going to be doing over the next however many weeks.
So I'm offering, it's called a down but not out course. It's free. I'm not charging anyone for anything. It's 18 weeks. And it starts on the 14th of October through to the 17th of February. So to get to where I've got to, it's taken a lot of work, a lot of personal work, and it's taken me to figure out all different things that work and things that don't work. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I feel like I've come to the end of my 5-year plan that I had back then in 2020 when I sort of set it. And I've broken it into 4 phases. So I've got reset and awareness, which is the first 4 weeks. So we understand where you are, and really look at where you are. What's the challenges that you're facing in all areas of your life. It's broken down over 4 weeks. In fact, what I'm going to do, just so I give the information out right. I'll break it down. Okay. So yeah, it's understanding where you are. It's building foundations, and it's setting those non-negotiables. So this course is an interactive course with me once a week on a Tuesday from 7:15 to 8 p.m. in the evening. We'll have a live once a week where it's on Zoom, and I will help you through, and I will talk you through certain things. So I'll introduce like a wheel of life in the beginning. I do 12 areas. I do like a self-assessment in the beginning, see where you're at. Then we identify areas that need attention. And then we kind of introduce non-negotiables. Now, they're going to be in from the very beginning. So my aim of doing this course is to be able to give back everything that I've learned in order to get me to where I am, to overcome the challenges that I've had to overcome by training my mind to think in a more positive way. And it's not just, it's not just positive or motivation. What comes into this is discipline, real discipline, because I'm going to be strict on you. You know, it's not about, like, knowledge is power, and it's great to be able to have these tools, but application of knowledge is the real power. So it's about applying things that I teach you. So we're going to look at your mind, body, spirit, and so your physical body, your mental like health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health, because I feel that they're all connected. We're going to move on. So the first phase is reset and awareness. Then we move into growth and energy. And this is about building stronger habits, working across multiple areas of your life. I will be expecting you to do sort of gratitude every day, even just 3 bits of gratitude. I am going to be expecting you to move a little bit. So if you've not done any walking before, start walking. If you're exercising and have been continually, let's up that. Let's look at different things that you can do. I'm going to be looking at sort of your non-negotiables, reading something that is factual, that is of interest to you, okay, that you're going to get some information of, that's going to expand your mind. These are like your non-negotiables. So we'll do growth and energy, we'll do reset and resilience, They stay for 4 weeks, and then we go the festive season strategy. And this is why I've done it over the period, over the Christmas and New Year, because I know myself that things dip at Christmas. Okay, it's really easy to be in environments that cause triggering, whether it's because you're having alcohol, because you're tired, because you're busy, you've got money worries, you've got Christmas coming up. Also, abuse in households gets really high. There's a lot of situations around the festive period that can throw you off, that can trigger you, that can cause you to feel at ease or at disbalance. So I work through that with you here, and it's about staying strong during that sort of triggering and distracting time. So we look at navigating family dynamics, we look at reviewing progress, we look at managing indulgence without guilt, because a lot of us do, and that makes us fall off. And then obviously still staying grounded. That is through the whole festive period. And then in February, or in January through to February, we look at sort of rise and integration. And this is where it's new year, new energy, new year, new me, new goals. And it's really easy to fall off. So I go into understanding habits, then what actual habits are, how they're formed, help you get into place. You're breaking down your goals for 2026. What do they look like? How can we do them? And giving you a real plan, aligning your actions with your intentions. And then continuing that is building community, building strength. And this is based in real life experience. It's based in with neuroscience. It's got science background. It's got wisdom, philosophy. I pull through different things that have worked for me. I use Kabbalah as one. I use different spiritual practices. I talk about energy. I talk about frequency. I talk about healing, all of that sort of stuff. So it's quite a broad, it's quite a broad task thing. But it's over, as I say, 18 weeks. And this is my way of giving back, because, as you know, I went through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters, and to get to where I am now, I'm really proud of being able to get here. But I need to be able to help other people do the same that are stuck, and just coach them and help them, because life's really tough. And I'm seeing it more and more, especially in what I'm doing with digital and human intelligence, and really understanding the impact that digital has on people and what they're seeing and what they're exposed to, and gamification has on people. That impact is to be able to say, look, let's manage humans. So that's kind of like my gift. Yeah. So that's a bit more about it.
Amazing.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And it's you'll have, sorry, just to, so it will be obviously weekly update, weekly live Zoom calls with me. You'll have there will be a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group, depending on what thing works. And there you'll get daily kind of prompts, daily kind of things to keep you upbeat. There will be socials as well. So in the festive period, if there are people in the same area, we'll get together, do a bit of a social, have a community, pull people together, walks and talks. There'll be tools that you get. So I've got loads of digital assets that I've been building, and there's information there on managing emotions, emotional mastery, managing your emotions, managing your time, because time is a real, and that's the thing with this. I'm really grateful that people are going to give up their time to be able to do it, because that's the most precious commodity. So making sure that we have effective use of time. There'll be plans to do that. There's a whole wealth of a suite of tools that people can have, that really give them, so help them end 2025 good, but really give them the tools that they need to set 2026 going forward. So yeah, daily updates, monthly, calls and stuff like that. So yeah. But I've been wanting to give it to people for so long. And it's funny because I've been building stuff for years. And it's like, I just felt that it feels like this is full circle for me. Like I've come to a point where I really feel like I'm really content with who I am now and how I've got to where I am. But I am ready to take on the next 5 years of my life. So,
oh my gosh,
so ready. But this is about accountability as well, because I know that I can't get to my goals on just me alone. I need to be held accountable by people. I need to have that community, that inclusion, and understanding people and what they're going through and stuff. So This for me is about, I will keep you accountable. You have to keep me accountable. It's reciprocal here. It's an agreement that we will have, and I'll be contractually bound to you to make sure that that I listen to you guys and you hold me accountable when I deliver, just like I expect you to deliver as well. Yeah.
It sounds good.
It sounds absolutely fantastic.
Good.
I've got.
So, Louise, can I just ask you a question? You know, so I like how you said why you want to do it and like you come full circle. But how did you decide on the components of what you were going to include?
Because it's kind of, that's how I've done it. Like, I've realized that I could sit there and master emotional intelligence and do that and just do that as a module, but that's only part of it. Like, we are, the way in which we're brought up, and I think this is observing a lot of people, is we have, all of these things are so fundamental that we need to do. We have to have our environment. We have to ensure that we are being physically active. So I think it was breaking it down step, how are people going to be able to digest this information in a format that doesn't overwhelm them in the very beginning? So we start with the little things first, like the expectation of gratitude. I know that science shows that will help push people forward. That will actually open a different way of thinking in a very short space of time. So I know that I can get, people can start to feel more positive from that, from doing a little thing. So we introduce things slowly, and then and that's why it was funny when I was looking at the time scale. I thought I have to put in the bit around Christmas. It has to go through that period, because a lot of courses would stop then. But I feel that's where the most triggering and most distracting and most unbalancing part is. So I wanted to be able to coach people through that, because I think once they've then got it, the tools that you get are there for a lifetime. I will be recording it. You will have access to it for your lifetime. There'll be trainings in there. So say this time next year, if you know you're going into that, the resources are there. You can pull from those resources. You can look at what you've done. Hopefully the community will stay community, and we will grow on that. And because that's ultimately what I want it to be. I'm doing my personal brand, but I'm not doing that I don't want any monetary gain from that. My whole point of me doing this is to help people shift, because I know what it's like to be stuck. So it was thinking about how are people process information. There are going to be people at different stages in their journey. So I thought that these are all the things that they would need to cover. And we go deep on quite a lot of stuff when you're ready for it. And I will judge that. And like I say, I am going to do a retreat as part of this as well. I'm going to figure out a date of that. So, and it will be local, a nice retreat where we can do some meditation and some different practices. And I'll obviously speak to you about that, Cecile, as well, because I feel there's an opportunity for you and I to do some bits on that as well.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. I think Shelley was going to say something.
No, I was just saying, are we still emailing through to book on this?
Yeah. So I've got the website. It's literally, I've been trying to do it so that they're both on the same platform now. But where I've been doing DHI and this one, it's like they're all together, and I wanted them to go at the same time. So I've just gone old school. My daughter is in control of sending out the emails, giving her a little bit of work to do. You've got to start with the young people. You've got to help the young people. So she's doing that. So that's how it's going to be. But I think definitely by the end of this next couple of days, everything will be there, and you'll get a login detail to be able to login into your kind of portal end of the website, where you'll see everything's recorded and you've got access to. Yeah. And that will be, like I say, that will be a lifetime access for everybody, and everything will be in there. And like, I mean, I built probably a couple of years ago, I did like about 1,500 pieces of content that I ended up getting verified and done by different clinicians, doctors, and all sorts, because I was building my Keeping Ahead platform. But I've still got all that content, so that's going to be on there. And where I'm sponsoring a football team now as well, I've said to them, I'm gifting them the platform to be able to roll out to the men's FA, so that there is a platform of resources, so that people can.
Excellent.
Which football team are you sponsoring?
I'm sponsoring Ollie United.
Oh wow! I heard of that.
Yeah, Ollie United. Yeah, so it's Graham White. He's the manager of it. So I'm sponsoring that, lead sponsor of that. But there's two teams. He does the reserves. But what I've said is I will give, because one of the gaffer, he wrote a post about struggling mentally and throwing himself into football, which was such a great post. And it just made me realise I've sat with all of this IP, these digital assets that just sat on my computer because I wanted to do something with it. But obviously at that time, that wasn't the path for me to take. But I've got it there. So I'd be really selfish if I just left it on my computer. So I said, well, what I'll do is I'll put it onto a platform. You got all of your football team can have it. If they want to use it, they can use it. If they don't, they don't need to. But at least I know that I've given it and it's going to be used if it's needed. And then the aim would be to roll that out to across wherever. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's been,
Louize.
you know, this year's been a crazy year, really crazy year.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening in Luton. There's something in the Luton water. There's something in the Luton water at the minute for both community kind of projects and the boxing and sports people. That's just something's happened this year.
I think
I don't know what it is.
I agree with you. I went to the boxing and Tyson was absolute hero. She smashed. It was brilliant. It was a really, really great night. And her reason for doing it, I've got goosebumps now, is obviously for Diane. And I think when we look at the town has gone through a lot, you know, and I'm not one to comment on what happened with Juliana and, you know, with family there, but that has impacted the whole town. It impacted me significantly. Diane's death impacted me significantly. And I don't think that people had to really know them to understand how certain things have rocked the core of the town. And I do feel that there is, from what I'm seeing, is there's more community. And I think now is the time that we're really, you know, I don't know, I think there's something in us. Luton are always known for the heart and known for the fight. Yeah. And there's absolutely that in us. But yeah, I would say that you're right, that the town, there's definitely a shift in the town, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it was weird how Tyson's fight was exactly 12 months after her last one.
Yeah.
It was exactly 12 months.
Yeah. And it, you know, that her work coming out was just, it was so emotional, but it was brilliant. She done her, and you know, she done herself proud, she done Diane proud, she done the whole town proud, and the sport of boxing really, really proud. So it was a great event, and it's really good to see that.
I think, as you were saying about, as Shelley's saying about that, whatever it is that's in the water and what's going on within Luton, if some of that has come from those awful tragedies, then so be it, you know, because actually something needs to come from that. And if that's how people are going to flourish and things are going to develop, then there we are. But as you've said, ultimately, Luton has always been a community anyway. It always reacts and it always rallies. You know, people can say whatever they want to say about Luton, but Luton is there's still that community there.
Yeah, and only a Luton person would know it, I think. Yeah.
I actually had a comment from someone that watched the 24 hours thing, because obviously the second part was last night, but watching the first part, and they always just assumed that people from Luton or Marsh Farm, whichever way that I've forgotten how the comment started, everyone keeps themselves to themselves. But it was that it was a neighbour that was worried about what they heard and went. Yeah. And that is what you do get in Marsh Farm. That is what you do get in these estates around Luton. Yeah. That it is not everyone for themselves. You have got that community there. And that community still does sit there. It's just a bit squiffed sometimes. But yeah.
And you're so right, because when we were growing up, those estates, everyone knew everyone on them estates. And you couldn't go anywhere really without being told upon or gossiped upon. But when you look at that pulled together, and you're right, it's a bit fragmented now for sure with our young people. But then you look at that, there's so many reasons around that, with poverty and austerity and the cutbacks that we've had as a town and with what things that we've lost. But there is still that at heart, and I think we all want to get back. We all want to have that community. I know that I do. I think it's really important that we have it, and we know that that's how we thrive. As much as we would have moaned, I know I moaned when I was younger for nosy old Doris down the road grassing on me, but you know, they're the things that you want to have. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you, Louise, actually, where you were saying about it being fractured amongst young people. But isn't that kind of a rite of passage? Because eventually they will go through that phase and then they will come back.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think when I look at me, absolutely, that's the prime example. I was probably definitely a troubled youth, and I kind of feel like I've come back now. But that's why it worries me, I think, now about how the world is shifting in a different way, and how we are so consumed by what we see and what we read and how we interpret that, and the impact that has on our psychological well-being. And that teamed with struggling emotionally, struggling financially, being I suppose separated, that worries me. So I think that, you know, yes, it would have, that's how it used to be, but I just hope that everyone comes back full circle, goes through what we would class as the teenage years, teenage rebellion. But you know, we're seeing a lot more, I suppose, cuts, so many cuts to young people and what they're, and those, the foundations of life, which is our early years, we don't get much for them anymore. They're almost kind of pushed aside, and that worries me because that's the foundation. Yeah, but that's why I'm trying to do my bit.
What a show today. And you are.
Yeah.
So, okay, with all of the information has been there. People know where to contact you if they want to join your course.
Yes.
We are just going to keep watching you in all those different places that you're going into. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So we're going to,
but I just have to say,
we've got a busy week.
Can I just say one thing though? Sorry. I want to say, like, thank you to you guys, because you've kind of been my voice from the very beginning when I sort of started this journey a few years ago of actually being out there and having the conversations. So before, obviously, I was doing work on myself, but it was giving me that platform to be able to go out and speak and without judgment. So for that, I'm eternally grateful. And I think that you guys have played a huge part. All of you have played a huge part in giving me the confidence that I've needed to go on to do the things that I want to do. So absolute gratitude for you guys.
Hi, you're welcome.
You're emotional.
You're welcome. Yeah. I know. When we did International Women's Day, and Remy and I were hosting, and you came up, that emotion that I had then was just like, you know, it's just wonderful. It's
well,
wonderful.
One of the phrases
before we finish,
that I always use for us as Simply D's is to inspire people. Don't show them your superpowers, show them theirs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've always done. We've just promoted and just pushed people around us that we can see that you just get stuck with, you find your like-minded people, you find your tribe, and you just promote each other, and that's what you've got to be.
Yeah.
And
you do that very, very well. You do. Really do. You should be proud of yourselves. And look, you take so much time out. I think this has been going on consistently for years, your show. You don't miss it. You know, you're always on live, you're always doing it and showing up. And that means so much to people. It really does. It means a lot to me. So I think you guys really should take that moment, be proud of yourselves. Take the thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's super cool.
We need to finish because some people need to go back to work, don't they? Tonight it is Real Talk Show.
Yes.
It's Real Talk Show, 7:00. Thursday, we've got Life in the Lockdown, still doing the Life in the Lockdown Zoom on Thursday. So we do that once a month. So that's on Thursday as well. Anything else, Shelley?
No, I think that was it. I still don't know who's on the show tonight, so don't bother asking me.
Well, you just wing it, don't you? You just do it on a
I get told in a couple of hours.
It makes for a fabulous show.
Say that again, Nico?
I said it makes for a fabulous show.
It does. It does. Right. So these guys don't even know this because I don't even think I've told you. I'm not here next week because I will be in
Oh
Rome.
my God, abomination. How dare you?
Did we have that in writing? I don't think we did. Did you request that time? No.
It's only just been booked. It's only just been booked. I'm going with my cousin, still doing my 60th birthday year. So I will be in Rome. So I'm leaving it down to you two, Shelley and Nico. You need to hold.
No pressure, guys. No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay? No pressure. No pressure. I might try and listen in if I'm not too busy, obviously.
Yeah. Really.
Oh my Lord.
Right, so the Simply Together show will be back next week. Same time. Have a lovely week. And thank you, Louise. Thank you for joining us.
It has been very enlightening.